Hi, this is John Oliva from Savatage, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and you are watching the sound of... Hi, this is John Oliva from Savatage, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and you are watching the sound effect. Crank it up and enjoy.
No? You got problems over there, Doug?
Kind of good thing.
We're having problems, people. Stand by.
Hi, this is John Oliva from Savatage, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and you are watching the sound effect. Crank it up and enjoy.
Technical difficulties. Not the first time that's happened on the show, and it probably won't be the last. So
Probably not.
that's what happens when you deal with live. Okay, so we are live, and thank you so much for joining us once again. We appreciate you for another show of
The Sound Effect.
I'm Todd T. Riley.
I'm Michelle Bench-Novak.
And we are the
Sound Effect.
Yeah, and Scott's not here.
No, he's not. So, Scott, we miss you. We do.
We kicked his butt and left him lying in a gutter somewhere.
That wasn't me. That was Todd. Todd did that. Yeah, that wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm just
Look
kidding.
at that. He's like, I got guns.
You
Look
got
at
guns.
that. I do.
You
I
got
totally
guns.
do.
So we actually got somebody special in the studio with us tonight, but we tried to talk him into, sitting over here in Scott's seat, and he wouldn't do it. But my friend, Mr. Earl Christie, from the Super Bowl champion New York Jets and Super Bowl III, is in the house. How you doing, my friend?
Hello.
Hey, Earl. Earl the Twirl Christie.
Yeah, we actually did an interview with him that we're going to be playing back in a couple of shows from now. But tonight, of course, first, we can't forget Mr. Doug. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate you for all you do. Coming up tonight, we have for you part one of a two-part interview that we did with the Mountain King himself, Mr. John Oliva of Savatage, Dr. Butcher, John Oliva's Pain, and, of course, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He is the musical mastermind behind all that, and he's just a phenomenal musician. Great guy. I've known him about 30 years. He came here to the studio and talked to us, and we're going to let everybody know how he's doing, what's been going on with him, what he's got going on musically and everything. I know a lot of you have really been wanting to know about all that, so we got him in here, so it's a good thing.
All right. Well, for those of you that don't know, John also performed a few songs, which was an incredible thing.
Heck yeah.
That's right. And I saw some of it, and you guys are going to completely dig it. It was very, very cool. And our new music showcase is coming up later on in the show tonight as well. So you won't want to miss any of that. And don't forget to get your vote in our social media poll for this week on our Facebook page. You want to tell them what it is?
Sure. What is the best song for a hot summer day? Y&T, Summertime Girls, or Van Halen and Beautiful Girls? We're going to be discussing that later on in the show as well, so make sure you stick around for all of that. Both fantastic songs. Love them both. Love both the bands.
I do too.
Of course, this is great stuff, and definitely good summer stuff. By the way, speaking of John, he was playing on the incredibly gorgeous 1911 Gaveau piano that was made in Paris, France. That
wow.
Is owned by the owner of Bakemore Pies, Accords, his family. When we go to play that a little later, I will tell you more about that piano, which you will see him playing. And he tried really hard to talk him into selling him that piano, too. So he loved that
it's
piano.
Gorgeous.
It
I don't
is a
blame
beautiful piano. So we will have that coming up for you. So stick around for that. But first, let's get into some music and entertainment news.
Let's do that.
So a woman who used Metallica music to scare off a cougar in Canada received a call from frontman James Hetfield, which is pretty cool. Dee Gallant said she faced off against a wild animal during walking her dog, Murphy, After various attempts to chase it away failed, she chose the Metallica song Don't Tread on Me from her phone playlist, and the music forced the cougar to flee. So I guess the cougar doesn't really like Metallica.
You know, I wasn't sure what kind of cougar you were talking about for a minute there. I just heard she forced a cougar to flee. I thought, was the cougar after her man? What was going on here? I didn't really know. I don't know.
Pay attention, Michelle.
Earl's smiling over there. Earl, I get real feisty. I'll try to behave a little bit since you're our special guest today. Earl Christie in the house.
So she said she would love to contact him someday and tell James Hetfield that he saved her life. And her opportunity came after a member of the band's team made contact with her and told her to expect a very important phone call. And she said she was a little bit lost for words. She told CTV News after realizing she was actually speaking to James. It's surreal how quickly it happened and how far it's gone. The fact that he's so down to earth and such a great person, I'm very pleased to find that out firsthand. I can't believe he knows my dog's name. If you told the 18-year-old me that this would ever happen, I never would have believed it. I would have just fallen out of my skin with excitement. Hetfield followed up by sending Gallant a selfie along with the message, "Thought you might like some confirmation that it was actually me."
Look at that. Look
cool.
at that.
That's very cool.
And it's kind of fitting that I get this. So my friends in Queensryche, I love Queensryche. I know you're a huge Queensryche fan. Queensryche bassist Eddie Jackson says that fans might see a little solo project from him in the near future. Eddie's actually a founding member of Queensryche, and he has never collaborated with other musicians or released any solo music during his 3.5 decades. Yeah, as a member of the legendary Seattle-based progressive metal outfit. Speaking to the Unchained Rock Show at this past weekend's Bloodstock Open Air Festival in the United Kingdom, those guys have been touring all over Europe the last few weeks nonstop. Jackson said that a non-Queensryche recording from him may materialize at some point down the line. I continue to write on a daily basis whenever possible. He said, I've always wanted to do some sort of side project of my own, but it's always been a work in progress because the priority is Queensryche, and that absorbs a lot of our time. Those guys do like 100 dates a year, and that's a lot for a band.
That is.
But you never know. You're right.
Queensryche.
Right. You might see a little solo project in the near future, but that still remains to be seen. When we are not touring, I spend time with family, and I do continue to write, but you never know. I might surprise the guys with a little side project. Who knows? It's something that some of the guys in the band have been doing, and I've always thought about. But it seems to me you get so busy with business and family, sometimes you get caught up with all that, and you focus on that as a priority. But like I said, you never know. It'd be fun to put together something as a side project. That'd be really interesting to see from Eddie.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so
I mean, I've heard the stuff the other guys have done, and it's all been great. You know, they're all great musicians.
They're just a talented bunch,
Yeah, no question about that. So Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe will be one of the 5 scare zones at this year's Halloween Horror Nights event here in Orlando, Florida. In Florida, that's great, at Universal Studios.
I love that.
I love that. That's
so
going to be
much
cool.
fun.
Scare zones are areas of the park between the haunted houses and rides where guests must travel through hordes of terrifying monsters and demented fiends. This year, the streets will be littered with characters from history, film, and pop culture. Official description of the Hellbilly Deluxe Scare Zone: you know his music, now it's time to live it up. Step into the heavy metal horror of Rob Zombie's music and imagery in this pulse-pounding scare zone. From otherworldly beings to brutal maniacs, you'll come to face with his twisted creations as the music cranks to a frenzy. This is not the first time that Zombie's work has come to life for Halloween Universal. Previously, he's hosted a maze based on his film House of a Thousand Corpses, and he's also created a touring attraction called Rob Zombie's Great American Nightmare, so that's pretty cool.
That'll
be great.
Cool.
I always love going to Halloween.
I go to those too. I think I missed the last one, but they're so much fun. The only thing is, you kind of got to get that fast pass to get through everything.
People. Yeah.
Right, it's so crazy busy, but I think it's worth the money if you've got it. If not, you just get through what you can. If not,
you get there as early as possible, so you're in front of the line, and you make a game plan, and you just go.
Right, right.
So this week in history, August 12th. Before we go any further, I got to say.
I'm sitting over here and I'm looking at this, and I hope that she's here.
I hope she's watching too.
I don't know if she is. I'm going to look.
I got to say happy birthday to my very wonderful and beautiful friend, Danica.
Earl, this is his crush, Danica. He's got the biggest crush on Danica, Earl. I hear about it every show. He's like, Danica, come on, help a girl out. Throw this guy, I don't know, a morsel. Just give him a good word so he's in a good mood for the rest of the night, my friend. Just do it for me.
She does it every day.
I
chat with her all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah,
She's
awesome.
super sweet, and we appreciate her support of the show, of course.
Yeah,
and she's been great.
Spectacular. So I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful birthday, my friend. So August 12th, 1991, speaking of Metallica, by the way, they released their 5th album, Metallica, also known as the Black Album, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard chart. That's a pretty rare thing. Debut at
to
number
debut
1
with that, sure,
that's
absolutely.
pretty killer. In 1999, Shakira recorded her first live album in New York City titled MTV Unplugged. August 13th, 1971, Paul and Linda McCartney released Backseat of My Car. August 14th, 1965, the Beatles taped an appearance for the Ed Sullivan Show. And in 1965, Sonny and Cher's I Got You, Babe hit #1. In August 15th, 1965, the Beatles played to 55,000 people at Shea Stadium. Now,
A lot of people.
I got to say, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people for a concert today.
Earl's thumbing that up.
And you talk about the Beatles in 1965 playing to that many people. That's crazy. That's great. That's awesome. Also, August 15th, 1969, the 50-year anniversary of Woodstock. Music and Art Fair opened in New York State on Max Yasgur's dairy farm.
Very cool stuff. Peeing in the fields. Good stuff. Free love going on there. I missed the boat on all that, but, I'm digging it. Anyone that loves music and finds peace and harmony through that, I'm all over that. I'm all about love. That's all good. It's all good. So we actually had someone comment, when's the interview start? Because I think we got some people that are really anxious for this interview with Jon.
Yeah.
And guys, that's going to be coming up in just a few minutes, so stick around.
We're almost there.
We're going to break it into 2 parts, so you are not going to want to miss it. Trust me. Good stuff. And you don't normally see an in-depth interview with him like this.
No, not at all.
So it was very fortunate that Todd actually knows him. So there you go. So speaking of that, I'm going to talk about famous birthdays this week. So August 12th. This is Danica's birthday. You're famous on the sound effect, my friend. So I got to throw that there. 1949, Mark Knopfler, Dire Straits. 1954, jazz guitarist Pat Metheny.
I should have brought in some noisemakers.
Oh, yeah. For Danica? I know, right?
I know.
So August 13th, Dan Fogelberg. Can you tell I'm tongue-tied tonight?
Fogelberg?
Fogelberg. And he put out great music. You know?
Yeah,
Oh, my God, really good stuff. And he passed away in 2007. August 14th, David Crosby. Crosby, Stills, and Nash was born in 1941. And who doesn't love Steve Martin? Comedian, musician, author, and actor. Born in 1945 on August 14th as well. And I love this one.
Wild and crazy guy.
I love this one right here. 1950 drummer Tommy Aldridge was born on August 15th.
Threw that one in there for Doug.
I knew you did. So you got to dig Tommy. You got to dig his hair, too. He's got like the coolest hair ever, right? So happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to all of them. So let's check out what events are going on, and we will play that interview for you with Mr. Jon Oliva.
Hey, everybody. Super cool shows and events on tour. So some cool shows possibly coming to your area soon. Hearts Loves a live tour. That actually is coming here.
That is going to be here Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah.
So Knotfest Roadshow featuring Slipknot, Volbeat, and a couple other bands. Peter Frampton finale. The farewell tour. Let's hope you don't throw people's cell phones and kick them. I heard
that's going to be here in August, actually.
Yeah, don't hold your cell phones in the front there, folks.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show.
He's going to be here in September. I'm going to that. I'm going to that show for sure.
ZZ Top, Queen, and Adam Lambert also coming over here to Florida. The Rhapsody Tour. Be sure to check the venues in your area and band websites to find out when they'll be coming to your area.
And so this is the moment that everybody's really been waiting for. Tonight, we have for you a very, very special guest interview, part 1 of a 2-part interview with the Mountain King himself, Mr. Jon Oliva. You know him from Savatage. He's done Dr. Butcher, Jon Oliva's Pain, and, of course, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and we talked to him about all that stuff. Part 1 and part 2 here. He came here to the studio very recently. He talked to us, and he let everyone know how he's doing, what he has going on. Also, as we mentioned, he played a couple of songs. We're going to to be playing that for you a little bit later as well. So here you go, part 1 with Jon Oliva.
Jon Oliva.
Thank you very much for joining us, and we got a really, really special guest for you tonight. You are going to love this one because I've been trying to get him in here for a while now, and he's finally had some time to actually come on this show and be with us. And unfortunately, Michelle's not able to make it for this interview, but she will be. She's still with us, of course, but she just had other obligations she had to take care of, so we miss her on that. But without further ado, welcome the Mountain King himself, Mr. Jon Oliva of Savatage. You know him from Savatage, Jon Oliva's Pain, Dr. Butcher, and the musical mind behind Trans-Siberian Orchestra. How you doing, Jon?
Help me. How are you, Todd? Long time.
It's been a very long time, my friend. It's really great to see you again.
I like you with short hair.
Thanks,
It
man.
works for
Appreciate
you.
that. I just like you around, all around, man.
There you go.
Like having you around. It's been a long time. Shoot, man, we've known each other, 28 years now? Something like that. I came down
Feels
here
like
in 91.
280 years. But
Yeah, it does, doesn't
about
it?
28,
So,
30
yeah.
years almost.
Yeah, I came down here in 91, and it's funny, I met you from ML Chasers. My ex-wife
Yeah, I got
worked
arrested there twice.
Did you?
Yeah, I remember that place well. Yeah.
Well, I remember sitting back at the back bar one night and sitting next to you and finding out who you were, and I didn't even realize who you were when you and I just first started talking, and we just clicked and became friends. And then
You were cool. You were very knowledgeable about music. I like that.
Yeah, well, that's back when I was working at 98 Rock.
Even though I
everything
don't
and
really
stuff, so.
remember much of the 80s or 90s. But,
Then you truly lived it, of course.
Well, yeah,
You know.
I'm getting there. I'm trying to reconnoiter those things. Like, did you really do that? Yes, you did. Okay, good.
Yeah, so just imagine if all the technology that's out today was around back then, there'd be a lot more evidence.
You'd probably be in jail
I'd
more
be in
often.
jail forever.
I just said it.
Yeah. If they only found out some of the. Can I swear on this show?
We'd prefer you not to.
Okay, so fuck, I won't.
All right.
I'd probably be in jail forever if they found out some of the stuff I was doing back in those days. But, the 80s, late 80s, 90s, that was just the way it was.
It's a different era.
And it was a different era, a different thing. And, we were just all having a good time. I had a blast. I don't know what. Yeah, I had a good time. Wish I could remember most of it, but it was good.
Well, I tell you what I remember was meeting you and going over to Coast, or Close to Closed, as we used to call it. And
Close to close. Yeah, that's when we were demoing up Edge of Thorns
you were
album.
doing the Edge of Thorns album,
Yeah.
and you gave me the privilege of being able to hang out with you while you
Yeah.
were doing that and stuff, and I
Yeah.
always really appreciated that.
Well,
and,
that was a lot of fun.
that was, we had a lot of good times. You and I just sitting in that room together all night long. For,
and just what
many
am I going
nights.
to play, Todd? I don't know. Well, how about this? Blue, blue. That's pretty good, man. Go ahead.
Cool.
But he was there. We were hanging out then.
Oh, we were really hanging out then.
And we
yeah.
were hanging out, and I would
Like every
just
night.
sit at the piano and just start playing stuff, and he'd go like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just making it up as I'm going." "Oh, it's not bad, man." And I was like, "That's not." Todd said that's not bad. I said, yeah. And a lot of that album came from stuff like that, because I knew I was leaving. I wasn't going to be singing. And we found Zach. I picked out Zach. We had like 175 demo tapes, and me and Paul were sitting down going through it, and I was like, "Paul, I don't want somebody that trying to sound like me." And he's like,
Good.
"John, I agree with you." I'm like, "Good, because we're not hiring anybody." And we found Zach, and Zach. There was something about his tone that intrigued me. And I said, "This is the guy." And Paul was like, "Yeah, but he can't really get into that like you do." I said, "I don't care. I want to make money, okay? I want someone who can sing a top 40 single." And Edge of Thorns became a top 40 single. And he was my choice. I love Zach. He's a great guy. But the difference between him and me was like, daylight and nighttime. but it worked. It worked. I'm glad
it worked great.
Worked, you know?
Songs you wrote for him were perfect. So
Yeah.
perfect.
Well,
for his
it was
voice and
cool
everything.
to be able to write for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I had a different voice now. I was like, oh, I'm not writing for me. You know, Magnus Ray. I was like, oh, no. Now I had somebody that had this like melodic tone.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. I know what I'm going to do.
Great thing about it is he was also capable of pulling off Madness Reigns and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
He
I
did
used
an
to
excellent
kick him in
job.
the balls a lot to get him to get to those
You can hit that high note.
at rehearsals. I was like, no, Zach, you're not high enough. Oh! That's it. You got it. That's it. Yeah, but
awesome.
he, you know, Zach is a great guy, and I love him. I've known him for so long, but he was my choice.
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm stepping down, I'm going to pick the guy.
That's cool.
And
I remember
Paul
you
was,
telling me
you know,
that when you first
yeah,
introduced me
and
to him.
Paul was cool enough to go like, all right, John, it's your, you know, I'm like, this is the guy. And then we wrote that whole Edge of Thorns album around his voice.
Cool.
And it wasn't easy, you know, because all the songs were originally written for me to sing in my, you know, and then I had to like change all the keys and rewrite them to fit his voice. But when we did it and it was done, and then we had him singing, it was like Paul and I looked at each other in control for one of the first times ever. He looked at me, he goes like, you know, John, you made a good move here. I'm like, thank
Nice.
you, Paul.
Nice.
He never did that much. I used to argue with him all the time about everything. Yeah.
I remember one of the first times I saw you perform around that time frame was you came to ML Chasers and did a one night only thing, and it was John Oliva's Funhouse. You remember that?
Oh, is that when I threw the midget across the dance floor and got arrested?
Yeah, well, no, because you guys all went back to the studio and left me standing there watching your brother's guitars.
Oh.
And then Eric at ML Chasers is like, Todd, can you tell them to get over here and get their stuff so we can close the place down?
Well, I was arrested.
Oh, did you get arrested?
I
didn't know you
grabbed
got
that
arrested for
midget. That midget came up and hit me in the mouth with the microphone.
Oh, that's too funny.
And I just grabbed him and threw him, and the whole mosh pit like spread out.
Oh no!
And he just went boosh on the floor, blood coming on. I'm like,
Oh, I remember all that. I didn't
Scheisse.
realize you got arrested.
I'm
for
in
that.
trouble now, you know. And sure enough, they came. They're like, well, you know, yeah. And they handcuffed me and they took me to jail. And I'm like, yeah, I know a lot of people here. All right, well, what did I do? Well, you threw a midget across the dance floor. I'm like, well, it
many
wasn't
people
my
get arrested
fault.
for that?
You know, he hit me first. What about that? What did you do to the midget?
No wonder I sat there for
Nothing.
hours waiting for you to come back.
Yeah, they didn't do anything to the midget. They arrested me and put me in jail, called my pappy, throw my bail, and he said, son, you're going to drive into drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln.
They couldn't arrest the midget because he could just slip out of the cuffs.
Well, I'm like, well, what about the midget that hit me in the face with a microphone? Well, we never saw that, but we saw you throw him across the dance floor. I'm like, wasn't my fault that the people moved. They were catching everybody else.
Everybody else, all the
Right.
big guys, but
I
here comes the
was
midget.
telling the guy, I was like, I threw a bunch of people off the stage. They
Yeah.
caught all of them.
Right.
There was something about the midget, and they all moved, and he went boosh on the floor.
They're like, we ain't catching
I mean, you
him.
can't make stuff like this up. This stuff actually happened. I'm writing a book of the history of Savatage. I will tell you right now, and this will be the funniest book about a rock band. This is going to make Spinal Tap look like Mary Poppins.
But it's the real deal.
Because it's all real. It's all true. There's not one lie. Like that thing with the midget. I was like, how did I make that up? I'm like, oh, they're catching everybody else. Let's throw the midget. Boop, throw the midget. Everybody moves. Boom, midget gets busted up. John goes to jail. Great. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. You know, what's next?
Have you had any contact with the midget since? I mean,
No, I think he's dead.
Oh.
Not from what I did.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I mean, maybe he is dead from what I don't know.
Brain injury.
No, I haven't had. I've worked with small people in the Hall of the Mountain King video. The midget that I worked with in there, his name was John Edgar Allen, and he was Ozzy's midget on the Ozzy tour, and they used to call him Little Ronnie after Ronnie Dio. I love Ronnie. He was a good friend of mine. And Ozzy, I ate dinner with Ozzy twice. I don't even know if I want to go into that story, but the midget from Hall of the Mountain King, he was an English guy, John Edgar Allen, brilliant guy. And that poor guy sat in that makeup chair for 8 hours.
Wow.
Getting made up and with the big nose and the hoofs and all that stuff.
Wow.
And at 5 o'clock in the morning, he comes up and he goes, "John, I'm really tired." He's like, "Do you got anything?" I'm like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" He's like, "You know what I'm talking about." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I bring him into the bathroom. We're in the Howe Caverns, which were caverns. I bring him into the bathroom. And I hope it's okay for me to say this, but I had a bunch of cocaine at that time. I took the midget, and there was like a sink thing about the size of this table, and I laid him on top of it.
Oh, no.
And I had one of those crazy straws,
Yeah.
and he had this like really long nose, like really long. I mean, it was long. So I took it and I stuffed a bunch of coke into it, and then he's laying there, and I had to wedge it up his nose, and then at the other end I just went. Like that. And he was like, and then I saw his little legs go like. I was like, whoa. So I gave him another one. I swear on a stack of Bibles a mile high. As soon as I gave him the second one, who walks in the bathroom? Paul O'Neill. "John, unfreaking believable! You're getting the midget and the midget jumps up and he goes, "Yo, Paul, it's okay. I love John. He's great." And Paul's like, "Of course you love John." But that guy, I'll tell you what, this is at like 5 in the morning. That midget came out, and we had like 3 scenes to shoot. That guy came out, and he was like Ricochet Rabbit. He was like, "Pachee, pachoo, pachee." And I looked at Paul, I was like,
See?
"What do you got to say now?" He's like, "Don't ever do that again, but I'm glad you did it today."
Wow.
True story.
That's too funny, man. Too funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm screwing up Todd's game plan here.
No, not at all. I don't have a game plan other than just talk to you and see how you been, man. Get some stories like that, It's great.
I mean, this is all true stuff.
Yeah, it's great stuff, man.
Yeah.
All your fans out there want to know it,
I love
So,
my fans.
You got a
They've
lot
been
of really
to
great
me
fans.
For years.
So a lot of them have been, posting on Facebook, and they've been curious about how you've been doing and stuff. I pop on there every once in a while and say I've talked to you and that you're doing well, and they really want to know, how your health has been and everything since you had the
My
stroke
health
and
sucks.
stuff like that, and
Well, my health thing, I had that stroke, and that took me, I would say, almost a year of rehabilitation, because I lost all control of my fingers.
Oh wow.
Damn.
And I was like, sitting there at home. I got out of the hospital, and I was like, everything else felt good. I was like, okay, well, all right, I had this. People have strokes all the time. I'm like, all right. So I remember coming home from the hospital and grabbing my guitar and trying to play a D chord or an A chord, and it was like, I was like, right away I was like, looked up into the heavens and I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? So then I went to physical therapy, and they gave me these balls. Not
Yeah, they did.
Fondle these
Yeah.
balls.
I knew that was coming.
Of course. What do you expect?
Well, no, they gave me they were like tennis balls, but different sizes. And I just started squeezing them, and they're like, well, you need to do this and do this and do this. So, and then what I did that for like 5 weeks or so, and I was like, I got to play. So then what I did was I got my guitar, and I put on every Beatles CD that I have owned. And I started by playing to the Beatles again, like I did when I learned music. That's how I learned music, was playing to the Beatles, whether it was drums, guitar, bass, or piano. And I was like, all right, well, if I can play Day Tripper, or We Can Work It Out, and it was rough, and I was very frustrated. I actually remember telling my wife, I'm like, pack everything up I have and sell it. That's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this no more.
Wow.
Because I was that frustrated. But my father told me, he goes, John, look. He goes, you have a talent. It's like, look, just stick it out. I was like, okay. So I kept going through the therapy. And it came back. Now, as of right now, I would say my hands are at like 85%. They're not at 100%. But they weren't even at 25%. So now, I can play again, like the piano, like I played for you guys tonight. I couldn't have played what I played for you tonight.
Yeah.
It would have been like clunk, clank, clunk.
That'd be hard.
Because you're just, your mind, when you have a stroke, it's like people don't understand when you have a stroke, your mind still knows what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But your muscle reactions or your fingers won't do it. Oh, they'll do it, but they'll do it like 2 or 3 seconds after you need them to do it. And which becomes very frustrating. Are you telling me I can't play an A minor on the piano? Which is the first chord I ever learned. And it's like you're hearing it's like clunk. And I'm like, sell everything. I'm done. But
that had to be very frustrating. Huh?
it was I'll tell you what, it was painful.
Yeah.
And I got all these offers to do all these festivals in South America and Europe and for big money. And I'm like, no. I always said something to myself. Actually, Ronnie James Dio, the last time I sat with him, I was doing a festival with JOP in Italy. And I was out on my balcony smoking a cigarette. And all of a sudden I hear this voice come from the balcony next to me. He goes, oh, what's that? And I look, and it was Ronnie. Ronnie goes, John! I'm like, Ronnie! And he's like, hey. So we sat there and we were talking. And I remember him saying to me that, he was like, yeah, I'm like, listen, man, for a guy that's like 3'4", that guy had like, I don't know where that voice came from, but it was like unbelievable. And he always said to me the same thing. He goes, I don't know how you sing like that and don't lose your voice. I'm like, because I drink more than you do. But such a sweet guy, and he was a big believer. He gave me a big shot, like Lemmy from Motorhead gave Savatage a big shot, and Lemmy was, he was a great guy. I remember going to the Reaper Bomb with him in Hamburg. Oh, you Americans don't know how to party. I'm going to show you. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in trouble now. But he was so great. I remember showing up at the hotel with no shoes. My shoes were gone. And, and he was just like, oh, you you got a show to do tonight. You better be ready. I'm like, how the hell is this guy gonna play tonight? He can't even, like, you lost your shoes. I'm like, well, you probably ate them or something. I don't know. I mean, you can't make stuff like this up. This stuff really happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is great. Where are you getting? I can't wait to finish this book.
Cool.
Very cool.
It's gonna be funny as hell.
Looking
How far
forward
along
to it.
are you with it?
Well, I'm up to like 3 chapters. I started it from when Chris and I first discovered music, which was, for me, was the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. Then I got a drum set. For Chris, it was like when we moved to California and we started playing guitars. And I snuck out of my house for the weekend with my friend Squid. That was his name, was Squid. And we went to California Jam 1 with Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Yellow. And I remember coming back from that. We told our parents we were camping. We did. We just stuck our camping gear in a cave, went down the other side of the mountain, and went to Ontario to see California Jam. I remember coming back, and my brother Chris at that time had to be like 9 or 10. And he's in this, we had a separate garage off the house, and he's in there playing the guitar solo for Smoke on the Water. Perfect. I just remember taking my guitar and giving it to him and saying, like, I got a good idea. You play guitar, I will sing and play bass or anything else that doesn't, because he was just such a natural. I'm like, I was only gone for 3 days, and this guy's playing Smoke on the Water guitar solo at 9 years old. Perfect.
Wow.
I was just like, I remember my older brother, Tony, he comes out to the garage and he goes, hey, man, I got some advice for you. Why don't we just give him the guitars and I'll buy you a bass. I was like, that sounds like a good idea to me. I'm not going to try to compete with this. And, Chris was a natural. It was mind-boggling, just how he advanced so fast. Never took a lesson in his life. He was so good that if he was playing out of key with the rest of the band, his brain was so fast, he would bend the notes into key before the audience could hear that he was out of key. I remember we were playing in Japan with Yngwie Malmsteen, and we come out and we went to meet Yngwie Malmsteen backstage. One of the guys that worked for him worked for us. And he brought, oh yeah, hey, this is John and Chris from Savatage. They wanted to meet you. And Yngwie was in this big double chair playing video games. And he turned around and he looked at me, he goes, get them out of here. And my brother Chris walked right up to him, stuck his middle finger in his face and said, you are a dick. Walked out. We came out and we opened up the show with City Beneath the Surface, where the solo at the beginning of that is like 30 seconds long. Chris played it for like 2 minutes. And it was just like, it was, I looked and his fingernails, they were bleeding.
Wow.
And then we played the song,
He was on a mission.
She's in Love. Remember the song it's on that album?
Yeah. Love that song.
I was actually singing, and he's playing this stuff, and I actually stopped singing in the middle of the song, looked at him, it was like, what the hell is going on here? He was like, shut up and sing. He blew Yngwie off the stage that night. No comparison. It was just like one of the greatest memories of my brother that I have, because I was just like, whoa, holy shit, what the hell? great stuff. You have a question?
That's awesome. You know, a lot of people have always, you know, considered your brother probably to be one of the most underrated guitar players of all time.
Very underrated.
You know, extremely. He never got the recognition I think that he deserved. You know,
Could you
just
imagine if Chris
incredible.
was still alive today?
Oh man, the music he could have been making is just phenomenal.
He was one of those people that no one had to teach him anything or show him anything. It just came, and it amazed me. I always had, of the two of us, I was always like the writer.
Right.
But Chris never really wrote a full song. But he would always come to me. He goes, "Hey, bro, I got this riff." Da-da-da, and da, and da, 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 and da. I'm like, well, that's pretty good. But then he goes, I'll go, well, what's next? What do you got next? He goes, well, you're the singer. You figure it out.
That's your job.
Okay, so you got this, like, that's the Hall of Mountain King.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
da-da-da. He played me that riff, and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, all right, well, I was so excited. I was like, oh, what's next? What's next? Well, I don't know. You're the singer, man. You figure it out. I was like, well, thanks. All right, you better give me 5 minutes on this, you know. And I sat there for like weeks, and I couldn't come up with anything. And then one night I had this like thing, and I was like, you know, oh, well, it's like you got to go like, kind of like playing tic-tac-toe. X, O, X, far away. In a land caught between time, and it just came to me. And I remember I went to, this is a great story. You guys are going to love it. So I go to rehearsal the next day, and I go, Chris, I think I got something for this song of yours. And he's like, what do you got? And I started playing on the, he goes, that sucks. I played like 13 seconds of it. He's like, that sucks. I'm like, well, you didn't even let me finish it, man. He's like, well, wait a minute. Let me hear that again. I was like, all right, so he goes, all right, hold on a second. All right, well, maybe that doesn't suck as much as I thought it originally sucked. Like, this is going to be a long day.
Yeah.
And then he came up and he added, I don't know where he came up with them. I have no idea. He just took, my stuff was basic. Bump, bump, bump. He came up with this thing and he's doing all this. I'm like, yeah, that works for me, you know? And then the whole song just went, shoot, done.
Nice.
And when we were done with it, he came up to me and he gave me a hug. And he kissed me on the forehead and he goes, you suck. I was like, so do you, bro. But that was the story of that. That's how that all happened. It was all just that riff and then him like putting that on me. Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go, people. Part 1 of part 2 with Jon Oliva, my friend there from Savatage, Dr. Butcher, Jon Oliva's Pain, and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He's a character, no question about that. He's just a really, really, really great guy. And he's going to be having part 2 coming up. In fact, you know, Jon contacted me after he did that interview and after he performed here, which we've got coming up for you very shortly. And he told me that he would like to come back. He would like to answer your questions and any questions that you might have for him. So we'll let you know when we're going to do that so that you guys can get some questions in, and we'll do it live. And he'll answer questions live for you as well. So I know a lot of people out there will be really, really excited for that. So it's definitely a
very
thing.
cool stuff. And if you guys notice, I'm absent from that interview. And unfortunately, I had an interview earlier in that day, so I wasn't able to make it over. I was there for the show later that night when we did our first Skype interview with Kenny Wilkerson from Novarex, which was very cool.
That was great.
So that's opened up a lot of doors for us for future interviews. So looking forward to bringing more guests on for you. And speaking
Kinda
of
like
guests,
this guy?
I know. So those of you that might have seen my Facebook Live little thing I did earlier with the fabulous Mr. Earl Christie, and we've been talking about him, right, Todd? So I know you guys are very good friends. And I got to wear his Super Bowl ring, which was very exciting for me, Earl. So thank you for that.
You're more than welcome. It was my pleasure, Michelle.
He's just lovely, isn't he?
Yeah,
Earl, you're just
Earl's
lovely.
awesome.
Oh, good night. I paid him, y'all. Not much, but I
It was
paid
just
him.
chocolate.
He didn't like-
I'm an easy
He
bribe.
didn't like the fact that I said he bailed on us, so he decided to join us for the
I had
rest
to
of the
come
show.
back, man. I don't
Yeah.
bail on nobody.
Yeah, well, we actually...
Because they don't beat nobody.
Well, I just like to tell that little small joke on they don't beat nobody. And, of course, Todd's favorite team in the NFL, well, he has two, Tampa and Detroit Lions, because he's from Michigan, right?
That's right.
Detroit.
I grew up in Michigan, so
I got to tell you this story.
grew up
And-
watching them every Thanksgiving with my grandfathers.
Yes, that was good days.
Yeah.
Now, you had Mama Lion and Papa Lion and the little boy Lion, okay? They were fighting over custody, who's going to take the child, who's best to take care of him. So they were splitting up, getting a divorce. So they were in the courthouse and in front of the judge. So the judge is going to give each of them a chance to tell the reason why the kid should be with them. So the ladies before gentlemen, so the mother came up and said, judge said, okay, now you tell me why your son should be with you. Well, Judge, you know every child especially needs a mother. You know how that motherly care and everything. And heard this feeling saying, you know, I just love him and everything. And said, okay. She said, okay, you go sit down. And then he brought up the dad. He said, come on up here, Dad. And he said, why should your son be with you? Well, you know, come on, Your Honor. You need a role model. You need a young man needs a father, a man figure in his life. And, you know, it's just good chemistry here. And so he went back and sat down. So now the little boy comes up. And he comes up and he said, now I want you to tell me what parent do you want to go with? And then he got to talking. He said, well, my dad, he beats me all the time. He just beats me, you know. He makes me go pick my switch and beat me. And then I said, okay, what about your mom? Well, she beats me too, and she fusses at me and everything. She really beats me.
Oh, no.
And so they went back and sat down, and then he said, okay, son, who do you want to go with? He said, Your Honor, Judge, I want to go with the Detroit Lions because they don't beat nobody.
How did I have a feeling that was coming, Earl? That was coming, Earl.
I get him all the time with
You
that.
get
So-
him with that?
Oh,
Every
yeah.
single time
Oh.
that he calls me or I call him, the first thing he says out of his mouth when I answer the phone is, they don't beat
nobody.
Wow. So we should tell our viewers, you know, although we've had Earl with us for quite some time tonight because we actually did an interview with Earl earlier,
Yes.
right? Earl Christie. Yes. And we're very excited to have that on an upcoming show. But
Earl Christie is Super Bowl III with the great Joe Namath. They won Super Bowl III, and biggest upset probably in NFL history, I would think.
absolutely.
Well, that's what they said. So, but anyhow, we thought we could win. Okay.
You did.
Well, and you did.
Yeah,
So
that's because Joe
good stuff.
guaranteed it
Guaranteed.
after his grandma guaranteed it.
Well, she didn't guarantee it. She said it.
She said it.
She was a praying lady. So she said it first. Okay, that's all. But
She made it known.
yeah, amen.
We appreciate you being here, Earl.
We
Thanks.
absolutely
Yeah.
do. It's been
And
a
y'all
We're
have
going to have
too
that
much
interview
fun.
with him coming up soon, so make sure you stick around for the show, and we'll let you know when that's going to happen. So
Yeah, I can't
we got
wait.
some other things
Fun
lined up as
stuff.
well.
Fun
And, of course,
stuff.
again, not next week, rather, 2 weeks from now, on Tuesday, I believe the 27th, we will have part 2 with Mr. John Oliva, but we're also going to have him performing. We're going to play part of that in just a little bit here. We've actually got a couple parts for that, so we're going to play one tonight, and we're going to play one then in a couple of weeks. But before we get to that, let's find out what happened with the show poll. All right, so tonight, Chill Poll. What is the best song for a hot summer day? Y&T, Summertime Girls, or Van Halen's Beautiful Girls? So you still have a chance, I think, before the show is over to get in your vote because this is a crazy one. So what do you say, Michelle?
I am going to go with Y&T, Summertime Girls. I love that song. And every time
That's
I
a
hear
fantastic
it, I
song.
think of summer. I mean, I love Van Halen. Great song, but Y&T, they're very underrated, so I'm going to give them some
they're
love.
a fantastic
I'm going to give
band.
Dave Menichetti, great vocalist.
Yeah.
Going to give them some love. I love that song, Summertime Girls, so I'm going with that.
Well, you know, they do have summertime in the title, so for a hot summer day, you can't really beat that part. So,
Nope.
What was your vote there, Mr. Doug?
Y&T.
He said Y&T as well.
All right, Doug.
I knew he did that, but I'm going against the grain here because
Of course he is.
Van Halen, the original Van Halen with David Lee Roth, is by far one of my top favorite bands of all time. Queensryche, obviously, number one, Dokken in there, and then old school Van Halen with David Lee Roth. In fact, back when that came out, I was in high school, and Van Halen was my favorite band at the time. And that particular song, I requested every single weekend when I went roller skating. And that was my favorite song to roller skate to, and Beautiful Girls.
I
Takes
just
the
want to
cake.
know if Todd
But,
had
you know-
speed skates or if he wore Bobos. I just want to know.
I wore
you wear the
regular
Reynolds?
skates. I wore the Reynolds, yeah. I didn't have my own, but I rocked it, man.
Did you-
I was a speed demon on wheels, man. I rocked around that. I could
Did you go
skate
to-
backwards,
Did
jump
you go
up
to
in the air, and
Southland Roller
spin.
Palace?
No, I was up in Michigan.
Oh, you were.
was
See,
up
I
in
went to
Detroit,
Southland Roller
yeah.
Palace down here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I loved
And
roller
we were
skating.
there, and they had those overnight skates.
Actually, always one of my favorite things. I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, so
that's
we do
great.
have a few comments actually. We've got Stephanie Williams. She says Y&T. Ashley Taylor, Summertime Girls. Ken Barrows, Y&T.
Nice.
That's what we got so far.
I'm surprised because they're all saying Y&T and stuff. But the poll is literally 50-50 right now. So
50-50. And you know what?
50-50.
I think we should ask Earl. Earl, what's a song that makes you think of summer? I know we were talking about Motown earlier. What song makes you think of summer that you...
Was there spring, summertime in the? Come on.
And the lovin' is easy?
Yeah, the
Summertime and the lovin' is
summer-
easy?
The summertime.
That's summertime,
and the
right?
love is easy. Good gracious. I'm trying to think. Oh, man, come on. And the easy.
I'm not sure.
Who did
I
that?
can't remember.
Come on.
Oh,
Can
totally
you believe I
remember.
got stumped
remember
on
that
music?
song. Great song.
Yeah.
Come on. I took too many hits. I got a good excuse. Yeah. I gave out a few, though.
Yeah.
What
I'm gonna
is
give you a
that?
couple more, man.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you because
Come on.
I know the song. I can hear it in my
I
head.
can hear it.
It is
No, come on, help me.
Fitzgerald.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, good.
Summertime and the living is easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful song.
Go
So
ahead.
great voice.
she
Gorgeous
was
voice.
awesome, too.
So we're looking at 50-50. That is actually the very first time I believe that we have actually had a dead tie at the moment. So get your vote in while you still can, because I don't think it's completely over yet until after the show is over. So it's going to be very, very soon. So if you're online watching us and you have not actually voted online, click on it. Give your vote. Get it in while you can. Let's get that going. So anyway, let's roll on. We're going to play John Oliva and wrap this thing up for you. So we're going to go into the spotlight. So we got something very, very special for you this evening. I will tell you more about this piano the next time around when John plays another song for you. But performing here in the Bakemore Pie studio for you downstairs in the big room on the owner's beautiful 1911 Gaveau piano made in Paris, France. And John tried really hard to talk him into selling the piano to him. This is Mr. John Oliva.
Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. will sing you a lullaby. Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. Now we'll sing a lullaby. The day breaks, your mind aches. You find that all the words of kindness linger on. She no longer needs you. She wakes up, she makes up, she takes her time and doesn't feel she has to hurry. She no longer needs you. In her eyes you see nothing, no sign of love behind the tears, crying for no one. A love that should have lasted years. I've been waiting, long forgotten, shipwrecked on a distant shore. And am I drifting, no more wanted, floating outward forevermore. And all the dreams I have harbored in the labyrinth of my soul, gone forever, but not discarded, only sleeping till they're home. And in this graveyard of my heart now sleep the years that I've long sown. And for their markers, is there nothing? Only ghosts I cannot hold. And Father, hear me, I'm tired. Shall I waken in thy home and hold me closer? I am dying, sweet Lord Jesus, heal my soul.
There you go, Mr. Jon Oliva. A very special performance right here at the Bakemore Pie Studios. You got to love that because I got news for you. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see it again. Jon is not performing. he's probably not going to do any more performances, or if he does, it's going to be extremely rare, and maybe occasional, stop in and get up and jam with a friend or something to that occasion, but he's not going out and performing anymore. So
it's just so special, and that's what I was saying when I was talking about the show. It's just it's an incredibly special interview and show, so it's great stuff.
So we got another song from him, which will be coming up in the next show, and we also have another part of an interview for him. And so you want to stick around for that. You want to be here for that. We want to say thank you very much to Mr. Jon Oliva for coming into the studio and talking to us, and especially for the performance. Originally, he was kind of feeling a little under the weather and almost did not perform, but once he sat down to that piano, he's like, all right, I'll do it.
The piano was inspired.
That piano did it. It kicked it all in. So, like I said, we'll have another song for you, and part 2 of our interview coming up on the next show. That is going to be Tuesday, August 27th at 8 p.m. So we'll see you then. We also want to thank Bake More Pies for letting us use the studio, of course, and especially for Chords for letting John play that incredibly gorgeous piano. Chords was very, very happy about that because he actually doesn't play, so he really loves it when people, especially people like John, who are very, very talented, come and sit down and play that piano, and he gets to hear it. So if you want video work done or you need marketing for your business, be sure to check them out and contact them at bakemorepies.com. Or if you want to even do a podcast, video podcast, this studio is available when we're not using it, of course. So check them out, bakemorepies.com.
Good stuff. And this is the part where I do a shameless plug for myself. That's right. So be sure to check me out. I like how you have that written. Check me out on Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, only on Rock Rage Radio, Shaking the Rafters with Michelle. So you go to rockrageradio.com. You can listen directly, or you can download our app absolutely free. On Thursday, I've got a very special guest, Don Barnes, 38 Special, my very first interview I ever did, joining me on the show. Brand new interviews coming up, so make sure that you check that out. Be sure to visit our website at thesoundeffectshow.com, where you can see previous shows. You can find out what's coming up on our show calendar. While you're there, be sure to click or the links to visit our social media pages and add us, like us, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We're going to see you again in 2 weeks for part 2 with Jon Oliva. That's going to be on Tuesday, August 27th at 8 p.m. You are not going to want to miss it. If you like tonight, you are going to be blown away by the next part. And speaking of being blown away, the fabulous Earl the Twirl Christie, right here in the Sound Effects Studio, New York Jets, Super Bowl champion, number 3.
Thanks for being a guest co-host tonight, my friend.
Thank you so much, Earl.
Well, thank you, and you call me fabulous. I got a new name. Thank you. But I'd like to just share with you. I'm very blessed to be doing a few things. You can go to earlchristy.com, and you spell Christy Christy, Christ with a Y. And you also have 2 shows on there that's going to be really jamming. Talking about Christ, that's a spiritual show, and of course a sports show. ECSN, okay? ECSN. Just click on the different link.
Earl Christie Sports Network.
Come on now.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you get to see all the interviews that Earl and I do or actually I film him, he does the interviews. So
that's how you do something too.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, if you want to get yourself healthier, check out our sponsor at criticallinkhealth.com. Use the code SoundEffect for 15% off all of their all-natural products, such as CBD, vitamins, and protein powders. Actually, Eric hooked my man Earl, up with some CBD today. And I've been using their Accelerate and Vitamin D for a few weeks now, and I've been feeling much better overall because of it. It's Eric's really been helping me try to get healthier and stuff, and of course, changing my eating habits has definitely helped. So, do it. Great stuff. Great guys. Great people. Eric's awesome. So, closing out the show tonight, I have chosen tonight's new music showcase. This band is really cool. Just kind of stumbled across them while I was just listening to some stuff on YouTube, and I really dug it. So the band is called Take the Day. The song is called Song for the Broken. Once again, thank you, Jon Oliva. Be here next no, I keep wanting to say next week. 2 weeks from now, Tuesday, August 27th at 8 p.m. for part 2 with John. And once again, Mr. Earl, Thank you, my friend.
Earl.
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you for joining us.
I got an interview with him coming up real soon, so check it out and stick around.
Make sure you do.
Again, new music showcase, Take the Day, Song for the Broken. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. You guys have a great night.
time I'm falling, falling, feels just like a heart attack. Memories I'm recalling, calling, can I get my life back? You walked out the door. You won't live in me anymore. This is a song for the broken. Bring us back to life. Pull us out of the shadows and into the light. I can't get used to this haunting, eating up my life. I'm gonna bust these cobwebs off this broken, dusty heart of mine. I remember when I wanted maybe to be just like you, but you couldn't ever own it. Just let me down like you do. Who walked out the door? You won't live in me anymore. This is a song for the broken. Bring us back to life. Pull us out of the shadows and into the light. I can't get used to this haunting, eating up my life. I'm gonna bust these cobwebs off this broken, dusty heart of mine. I remember every promise you let die, every lie that you let fly. The sound when